Samsung is making a big change in how it gets memory chips for its top smartphones, and this shift is becoming easier to see with every new model. In the past, Samsung's mobile division mostly used memory chips made by its own semiconductor department. This meant Samsung was producing the RAM and storage chips for its own phones. But now, things are changing. Samsung is starting to work more with outside companies, and one name that keeps showing up is Micron, one of Samsung's biggest competitors in the memory chip business. This change became clear with the Galaxy S25 series and earlier models. Samsung mostly used its own memory chips. But with the Galaxy S25, the company added memory chips from Micron too. That alone was a big shift. But now it looks like Micron is going to have an even bigger role in the next big phone, the Galaxy S26. According to reports from the Korean media, Samsung plans to let Micron supply about 60% of the LPDDR5X RAM chips for the Galaxy S26. In comparison, Samsung's own chip-making division will only provide about 40%. This is a major change from the way Samsung used to work, and it shows that the company is focusing more on performance and saving costs instead of relying only on its own parts. So why is Micron getting a bigger share of the business? The main reason is a problem that Samsung's semiconductor division has been facing for years, something called a low yield rate. In simple words, the yield rate is the number of usable chips a company can produce from each batch of manufactured chips. A lower yield means that more chips in a batch are faulty or don't work properly, and that makes the good chips more expensive to produce. When it comes to the advanced LPDDR5X chips needed for today's smartphones, Micron is doing a better job than Samsung. Their yield rates are higher, and their chips are more cost-effective. Since Samsung's chip-making division is struggling to produce these high-performance RAM chips efficiently, it makes more financial sense for Samsung's mobile division to buy more of them from Micron. Reports say Samsung's semiconductor division is okay with producing only 40% of the supply because making more would raise costs too much for now. Micron, on the other hand, isn't slowing down. The company is already thinking ahead to the Galaxy S26. It has reportedly sent new samples of its LPDDR5X RAM chips to Samsung. These new chips are built with even thinner circuit lines, which should improve yield rates even further. This could lead to better performance and energy savings in Samsung's upcoming phones. But there's another exciting thing for Galaxy fans. The Galaxy S26 series might finally offer a bigger RAM upgrade. In the past, Samsung has offered a 16GB RAM option, but it was only available in a few countries. Now, there are rumors that Samsung might release a 16GB RAM option worldwide for the Galaxy S26 lineup. If this happens, it would be a major upgrade, especially for people who use their phones for heavy multitasking, gaming, or keeping them future-ready for years to come. This move makes sense because Samsung seems more interested in boosting performance with every new phone. With Micron providing faster and more reliable RAM, and the possible global launch of 16GB RAM models, the Galaxy S26 could end up being one of Samsung's most powerful phones ever. At the same time, this situation shows how Samsung's business style is changing. Instead of only using parts made by its own company, Samsung is now open to working with other suppliers when it makes sense. Whether it's choosing Snapdragon chips instead of Exynos in more countries or buying more RAM from Micron, Samsung's main goal now is to deliver better, faster, and more reliable devices to its customers. This could turn out to be a smart, long-term strategy. When companies compete for big contracts like this, they're pushed to improve their technology and lower their prices. If Micron keeps improving and Samsung's semiconductor division wants to stay competitive, both companies will work harder, and in the end, the customers will benefit the most. We'll get faster, better smartphones at better prices. As we wait for official news about the Galaxy S26, one thing is clear: this phone won't just be about better processors or cameras. It will also be about smarter decisions in the background, like choosing the right suppliers for key parts. And if the reports are true, this switch to more Micron RAM and the possible 16GB RAM option could make the Galaxy S26 one of the most exciting phones Samsung has ever released.